So, in this second part of the Uber Tesla rental debate that I'm having with myself, we're going to continue to listen to this interview and see what we can come up with here. So, without further ado,
Quickly, what percentage of your drivers rent? Do you have that stat to
The
hand?
percentage is less than 10% as far as the percentage that rent, but the average driver who rents actually drives more hours, drives more miles. So this
think about what he just said. The person who rents is only less than 10% of the total drivers out there are renting a vehicle for whatever reason. And but they're driving more hours and more miles. Would that be because their first $300-400 every week has to go towards paying for that rental?
is the most effective way of us putting a single vehicle on the road and having that vehicle cover maximal miles.
Yeah, I think that differential is really important. Mark, you know, when I look at the Uber drivers that I see in the road, and here in New York, you can identify them by the number plate, which helps. They're not high-end cars. They're Toyota Camrys. They're Honda Civics. Those are the ones that I see most on the road here. You know, if I look at how much I could lease one of those cars for, sort of $70 a week. Talk to me about the rental, and it still feels, and it again comes back to the economics of being able to afford to rent a Tesla vehicle at the.
And see, that's important. Most ex-drivers are looking for the most fuel-efficient vehicle, the least expensive vehicle that they can use, because the whole point of being out here is to make money, not make money for somebody else. Now, you can get into the debate of how much the Uber and Lyft take off the fare that they charge the rider. It's irrelevant because when you hit the button, you know how much you're driving for per minute per mile, and that should be your only concern. And it's based off that per minute per mile that you agree to drive for that you have to do all your deductions, your car payment, your insurance payment, maintenance, all of that stuff, home bills, has to be based on that premise. And so far, a $400 a week car before incentives, I had somebody reach out to me and say, well, if you do 90 rides a week on with the Tesla rental, Hertz will give you some type of a discount. I believe that. But at the same time, I mean, how many hours are we trying to put out here? I don't know.
The prices that we're talking about here relative to some of the other options out there. It's that jump and convincing them of the economics.
Well, I think overall, as Dara mentioned, the benefits to the Uber drivers are first off, they get to drive in a terrific vehicle. So there's some value around that for the
You're willing to
drivers.
pay.
The only people who are concerned with what type of vehicle they're driving are those that have, and let's be honest, a little ego to themselves, okay, and who they're trying to cater to. If you're on the Lux platforms, I mean, you want the snazziest, fanciest vehicle you can afford. I mean, let's be honest, I drive a Cadillac. But before I got into the Lux and the Lux Black Premier SUV type vehicles, I drove a Hyundai. And prior to that, I drove a Ford, I don't even remember what the hell it was, a Fusion. The more you go up in levels, obviously you need a nicer car. But for what my Cadillac XT6 that gives me 6 platforms every day that I can drive on, Uber XL, Uber Premier, Lyft XL, Lyft Lux, Lux Black XL, I get 6 platforms out of that vehicle. If you go and pull up, and in the third video, I'll show you the numbers on that. You compare what I paid for my Cadillac versus what it's costing right now for a Tesla if you bought it, or versus a Tesla if you rent it, the Cadillac wins. And my opportunity to make money in fewer hours is so much stronger.
Pay for that,
And
you're
secondly,
saying.
they have the excuse me?
You're willing to pay for that, you're saying.
Yeah, there's a bit of a premium there because they're terrific vehicles to drive and they're helping the environment. And that's important to a lot of folks.
See, there's that buzzword, helping the environment. But what they're not telling you is you have Hertz, right? And we all know Hertz filed for bankruptcy during the pandemic thing there. You've got Hertz that's buying all these vehicles, cutting a deal with Uber. When you think about the economics, Hertz isn't going to lose a nickel, not one nickel. When we think about maintenance on a Tesla, it's little to nothing compared to a gas-powered engine. We understand this. When you think about Uber, well, Uber's a middleman. That's all they've ever been. It's not a bad deal. I enjoy driving for Uber when I get requests, but there's still a middleman. So Hertz is getting their card paid for. Uber's getting its piece of the pie from the Hertz rental. Plus, they're getting their percentage off the X rides. And some tend to say it's between 40 and 60% of the fare goes back to them. That's not an argument. That's a reality. And then the driver, more hours, high rental price, and he gets to feel as if he's helping the environment. I don't know about that one.
Including Uber drivers. But then, as Dara mentioned, they also have the opportunity to earn more money than driving an internal combustion engine vehicle. And
earn more money. The only way you earn money is if you work for it. You have quests. We all have quests. We all have bonuses. But how are you earning more money if you're limited to one platform that you can drive for? I'm saying if you're using through the Hertz Uber rental program, you can't go to the other company. And that's a big deal too. So there's a lot to consider here. And in my next video, I'll put it out in a couple of days. I'm going to give you what I think is my opinion. And I know there are people out there that are renting these Teslas and they're making bank. But my friends, you're putting in a lot of hours. You should be getting more of your money if you're going to put in that many hours. All right, till next time, peace out.